Thank you so much for watching this video. My name is Safwan and I am the VP of Product at Bayzat. In this video, I will be walking you through the latest feature that we have released in Bayzat, which is workflows, and it's currently in its beta stage. Let me tell you what are a few things that you could be automating using workflows on Bayzat. As I told you, workflows is a tool that allows you to automate different processes within your organization. And we have currently built some templates that will allow you to start easily without having to do everything from scratch, such as automating emails when it's an employee's birthday, or integrating with your Slack to send specific messages on certain actions. In this video, I'll walk you through what are the potential possibilities you can have and what are the steps that are to be taken to get to that stage. As of now, if workflows, the feature has been enabled for you, then you will be able to see it under your settings on workflows. Once you go there, you can click on new and then you can start from scratch or choose a pre-made template. And you can start by creating a name for your workflow, and thereafter your process begins. When you click on selecting event, what currently you see are a list of events that we support, and these events are what we call the triggers, which will trigger the workflow. Let me give you a quick example. If I select employee create as the event, this means that the workflow will be triggered anytime an employee profile is created on Bayzat. This means anytime an employee profile is deleted, the workflow will be triggered. And then you have offboarded, updated, as in if any of the employee profile information such as nationality, name, gender, anything it might be, if any of the updates happen, then the workflow is triggered. You can get to configure a lot more on what updates do you want it to filter by, and I will show you in the next section, which is criteria. Payroll adjustment, payroll cycle is closed, if salary configuration of an employee has been updated, whether a leave request has been created, deleted, or updated for an employee. We also have something called date-based events, where these events would this event this or this events are selected in case when you want to trigger the workflow based on a specific date or after a specific date. For example, had I selected this option, this means that whenever it's an employee's hire date, as in the specific date of his hiring date, the workflow will be triggered. If I select work anniversary, then this is year agnostic. So every year, when it's the day and the month of the employee's work anniversary, the workflow will be triggered. I have selected it as on the day, trigger the workflow on the day, but I can also say trigger the workflow relative to the date selected. So for example, I can say trigger the workflow 10 days after the employee's work anniversary, and I can also define the time at which the the workflow has to be triggered. So this is the first step. In this example, let me just go ahead and select leave request created because that's what I want the workflow be triggered by. The next step is to define criteria. Criteria, in other terms, is a filtering mechanism where you necessarily don't want the workflow to be triggered every time a leave request is created. Rather, you can define that, hey, I only want the leave request to be created if the leave request is coming in from the HR department. This is what in a nutshell I have done here. I can add more criteria. For example, I only want requests if it is vacation. Any other leave requests, I don't want to be concerned. I can add more and basically say any request that is more than that is greater than 5 days, only then send them my way. So in a nutshell, what you're trying to do here is you're trying to get control over when the workflows has to be triggered. You can have and conditions, as in when all of these things are true, then only it will be triggered, or you can define or conditions, in which case, if either of these statements are true, the workflow will be triggered. Let me move it to all, and let me, just for the sake of it, remove this. You can also add else blocks. For example, you want to now create a different set of actions when the leave request type is sick, then you could do that as well. And then you can also define your different conditions here. And we currently support numerous blocks. So if I scroll to the right, you can see I can support more and more else blocks if need be. So now going down, the next step is to define an action. Today we support email, confirmation task, Slack, and outgoing integration. Let me give you a very quick overview to each of them. In an email, you are able to select the recipient to which the email has to be sent to. Now we have a section called from this event, and what it means is if the trigger is created by, let's say, employee A requesting for a leave, as per this example, then you can select the recipient to be the employee or the department of employee A or to the nationality that employee A belongs to, as in to all the other employees whose nationality is the same as the employee A's nationality. You can also select a specific department. So regardless, since you have selected that the workflow will only be triggered if the department is equal to HR, for example, then you can simply say, hey, I want the email to be sent to HR department. You also have nationality, employee, meaning you can select a specific employee. For example, you want the CEO to be informed whenever a specific leave request comes through. You can also do that. You can also define them by role. These roles are the roles that you have configured on Bayzat. So for this example, let me just say I want to send an email to HR. I can create a subject as well, and I can create a message. Hi, HR team, and then you can select variables from here. For example, I can say employee name, which is the employee who has requested for leave, has requested for, and then I can say leave type, and they say leave, and it is from, and I can say date from, and then say to, and I can say date to, and then I can say for, and select request days, and say, and then say here, please go to Bayzat to approve, for example. This is just a way to define it. And you can also add more variables that we currently support from here. And once you have done that, what I essentially have done right now, let me close that out, is anytime an employee requests for a leave that is vacation and is greater than 5 days, an email will now be sent to the HR team, and this is the subject and the body with which I have created that email for. I can create more actions. So for example, I can create a task and I can say I want to assign it to an employee who requested the leave, and I can tell him, download, certificate of insurance for your travel. And I can just add a description for it as well. I can also add an outgoing integration. So for example, I can create a Slack integration, and let's say if you have a Slack channel dedicated to the department that this employee belongs to, in this example is HR, you could create the webhook URL from the Slack that will then allow Bayzat to call that endpoint and send the relevant information. For example, within Bayzat, anytime an employee requests for leave, we are sending a message to the respective, Slack group channel that his department belongs to, or her department belongs to. So for example, when I request for leave, a message is sent to product channel in Bayzat. So you could also define those webhook URLs, and the same variables apply. So you could see, okay, Safwan Yusuf has requested for leave from X to Y date for X number of days. And you could configure that over here. You could also define outgoing integration. So if you're using any other systems and they support post API calls using REST APIs, you can configure that from here as well. You're able to, again, define variables. So within the API call, you can define these data points as variables, which will then be sent when we are calling those endpoints when the workflow is triggered. So this capability exists, and I will be making more videos to show you how this could be possible using some examples. And I will start with Slack, for example, and showcase how this could be done. But the possibility exists that you can send the data when workflows is triggered to Slack or any other third-party solutions that supports API webhook calls to receive the data from our side. In a nutshell, that's what workflows is, and there are endless possibilities to which you could be automating. What we are currently doing, since it's its beta stage, is to improve a little bit of the user experience, but more importantly, allowing you to select more events. So we're currently generating more and more, and we have some really insightful actions that will be populated here that will also be very specific to the HR function and finance function. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you're excited as I am. And if you're interested, please let me know and I'll be more than happy to activate this feature for you on Bayzat to test it out. Thank you for listening and have a wonderful day.